I do have a campaign consultant that I work with. I said, thank yous are really important to me. I want to make sure everybody gets a handwritten thank you. And so, okay, well, we'll write a hand note for everybody that's $100 or more. I said, nuh-uh. Every single donor is going to get a handwritten thank you. And it matters, even if it's $5.
Welcome back to the Around the District podcast, where we bring conversations to you with the people shaping our communities, our districts, and the future of Arizona. I'm your host, Gabrielle Mazar.
I'm Nicole Brown.
And on today's episode, we're here with episode 2 with Cicely Rocha-Miller. She's running for Chandler City Council. She's a longtime Chandler resident, local small business owner, and dedicated to her community. Thank you for coming back today.
Oh, happy to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to get right into it. So Nicole has some questions about the arts.
Well, yeah, the arts and community life. So with your history with the Chandler Center for the Arts, how do you view the role of the day's investment in culture during times of economic uncertainty?
So I think that arts is not a luxury. I think that it's a fundamental connector. And in a world of fear and unknown, events and art bridge the gap, and they help us to connect with people. And I am actually extremely proud of our events and our arts and all of our community impacts initiatives in Chandler. And, that's one thing that I want to make sure stays funded is all of our great cultural events, all of our beautiful art installations and connections. Chandler Center for the Arts is very unique in that we are aligned very much with our public schools. It's a city-owned building and it's run by city employees. And so with that, there's a big connection to our schools and getting them to understand the arts and to have city investment there is super, super important. So for me, the arts is a fundamental thing that we have to make sure is protected.
Not just that, the arts are, it opens the mind.
Yes, it does.
You're creating.
It answers our questions of curiosity, and I think that's valuable.
Creativity.
Yes, but it's connection though.
Yeah.
I'm
going to be woo-woo because I love that.
Do it.
Stuff. But I'm just saying, the arts are important. You have to think about that. Like everything you said, it connects the community to cultures. And then I love when I drive downtown Phoenix on Roosevelt, where they have all the art
Murals,
and everything, the murals and you're like, wow, somebody actually created that and just drew it out from their mind, even if it's a picture of somebody else. But it's just, it to me becomes more about motivating and inspiring other people.
Well, and it's music.
Yeah, it's
music. It tells stories. It's history. It's pottery.
It's so much more than just paint, or drawing, and people fear what they don't know. And the arts really open it up to conversation, and it connects us as humans. And I want to try to be as human-centric as I can and bring that to our city and protect
Chandler
what
has some really cool concerts down there.
Yeah, they do.
They always have some unique people come down.
Black Violin is coming back. They're awesome. I saw Brian McKnight. I've seen him 6 times. I'm a huge fan, not of his family drama, but of his performance and his music. Yes, we brought in some big artists and such, and they're going through a big renovation right now. And I'm a huge, huge, huge advocate of that. Where my entire family are theater nerds, and we love it.
Theater down there too.
And theater. Oh my gosh, the theater folks in general, the kids at Chandler High that are performing there, they're going to be strong workers. There's no one that works harder than theater kids, I think Josh Groban went viral for doing a video about hiring a theater kid. If you want somebody that will work hard and get the job done for cheap, hire a theater kid, So that's a true story. I believe
That's
it.
what he said.
Yeah, he sure did.
And they do all the things.
Yeah.
Too. They have all the different jobs.
With enthusiasm.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And singing.
Yeah, the singing,
And
dancing. I love that. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
So on a more serious note, so getting back to your campaign,
Sure.
Campaign fundraising is a very difficult thing, but you've had a lot of support for your campaign this time around and last time around as well. How do you feel that fundraising for you and for other candidates has been different or difficult and different? And how has it gone for you in your campaign this time?
Oh man, fundraising is the worst part of politics. It truly, truly is. There's a guilt, to be transparent. There's a guilt associated with that I have to get past.
Yeah.
Working in the nonprofit sector, it was easy for me to ask for money for homeless families with kids, women coming from domestic violence situations, or men coming from domestic
Even as
violence
a business
situations.
owner, I think it's
Yes.
easier to ask for money for a
Absolutely.
service.
You know, for puppies and for seniors and, you know, all these things. But when it's to a
Food
political
drives,
campaign,
food drives,
yeah, it's so much harder to put that hat on and then to come back after, you know, a loss and to have to ask again. So I will say we've done well, but we certainly need more. You know, there are people that are running that have self-funded, you know, tremendous tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars over and over again. A lot. And I, you know, I don't have that kind of money to put
I
in,
know. It's
you
like,
know,
it's good to be
myself.
rich, I guess. 'Cause
Right,
I didn't have that either. And
right.
it's hard. You're right. It is
Yeah.
hard to say that, to ask somebody like, can you help me?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, but for me, the worst part is like, and this is really nothing, but this is our own administrative piece of
something,
it,
yeah.
but it's like the whole reporting process.
Yeah.
That's a lot too.
Yeah.
So you have to ask for money, then you have to report it, which is holding the candidate
Yes,
accountable.
and
but
it's transparency.
It's transparency.
You know, and I suggest people, and this was something that I learned, you know, I suggest people go on the city websites, look up your elections and look up the candidates and see, because we
Where
have to
the
give,
money's coming
we have to give reporting. We have to understand, you know, what PAC groups are coming in, what people are self-funding, what loans are they giving themselves, where are these donations coming from? And I'm very proud that a vast majority of the $20,000 that we've raised so far have been $25, $50, $100. My dad was a big donor and he is not a rich man. And he was like, Mia, I'm so proud of you. I've saved up and I was a mess when I opened up that check. I was like, Dad, you don't have this. And he goes, I do, I believe in you, you know? And so that was my biggest donor was my own pop, you know, which says a lot, you know? So yeah, it's rough to ask for those donations, but it matters because who, again, going back to local elections, who do you want representing you, you know? And it will affect you.
And I do think it speaks to the candidate who has the grassroots effort behind them, where they're like little amounts matter. So great, you can fund yourself, and it could be 100,000, 50,000, whatever you want to give to yourself.
200 million.
Yeah, whatever you want to give, that's great. But it shows that you, as a candidate, care about the community. You went to the people and you said, you know, can I do that? Can you do this to help me do that?
The best is when people donate and I haven't solicited them. That makes me melt because that's community buy-in. You know, when I'm there and someone says, oh, I'd like to write you a check. Oh my gosh, really? You know, and so thank you.
Just because they like who you are as a person and what you represent. And that, I can see that.
I was working, I do have a campaign consultant that I work with and we meet every week. And his team was like, okay, we need to, I said, thank yous are really important to me. I want to make sure everybody gets a handwritten thank you. And so, okay, well, we'll write a hand note for everybody that's $100 or more. I said, nuh-uh. Every single donor is going to get a handwritten thank you. You know, let's make sure that we have all the addresses there. And it matters, even if it's $5. It truly does. I know Bernie Sanders says it matters. It really does. You know, the $5, it adds up.
It's a lot of writing, though. I did that myself.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and why it matters too is because that person that donated to you is going to talk to somebody else.
Yes.
And then maybe that person donates and that person talks. So it's not just, and what we've even seen is that money doesn't always talk. We have seen in recent elections that the money hasn't won.
Yeah.
So those grassroots campaigns, those smaller, I mean, it's happened in quite a few elections recently. So it's the money hasn't won the election. So all those little things make such a huge difference because I think people right now are really desperate for connection. They're desperate for candidates that care, that really are genuinely looking out for their best interests, that really are genuine people and don't want the money. They're tired of people just taking PAC money and tired of people just throwing money away, millions and millions of dollars at an election. And I think it shows a lot to say, I wrote this handwritten note to you. Thank you so much for $5, $10, $25.
Absolutely.
Because every dollar counts.
I get excited too now that we're able to put up our street signs. For me, the street signs are great and that's just political branding. But to me, it's the yard signs. When someone says, hey, I'll put up your yard sign in my front yard, I just melt again, you know, because that to me is really connecting to the neighborhood and saying, hey, that lady is voting for her, so I should maybe too,
And a lot of times people trust their neighbors,
Yeah.
more than like, who should I vote for? I don't know anything about elections.
Yeah.
And to your point, if they're supporting you, they're probably going to bring along a few folks with them.
Yeah.
Which matters a lot.
Yeah. If you can't donate, giving me your front yard for a little plot to put down a yard sign would be huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the community in Chandler where people can actually vote for you. But other
Absolutely.
people who can't vote for you, they can help in other ways.
Yes.
What are some ways they can help?
So call banking is certainly some. One thing that isn't public facing is just driving me around. I sometimes will walk canvassing neighborhoods, and we really try to focus on people that are showing up to the polls on the primary, which is, I believe, our last election we had about $35,000 people turn out for the election. When we are almost at 300,000, that's a very low turnout. So first of all, make sure you're voting in your July 21st, your local elections for sure. But we are focusing on people that are showing up when we're knocking on doors and having those conversations. But I need a driver.
Yeah.
If I can get somebody to drive me around so I can go, okay, this house, and then skip 3 and then go to that house and knock on, Republicans and independents and Democratic doors and have conversations, that would help me, so I'm not walking back and forth and wasting some time, so call banking.
It's hot.
And it is hot.
Yeah.
Someone
It
can
is hot.
drive you.
Already.
Yeah. Well, it still gets hot once you're outside and it's
It does.
over 105. There's not much helping with that. But I'm hosting events right now where it's called Sit and Sip with Cicely, and it's just an opportunity for conversation, a listening tour, if you will. And if you could share that with a neighbor or friend and say, hey, go meet this girl. I'm not asking for anything. There's, it's a chance to invest in a local restaurant or a coffee shop and support them, but just the opportunity to meet new voters would be a great way to get involved, engage in our social media and share, and, lots of
And
ways.
it was that's a great way to get a lot of people to
Mhm.
you at one time.
Yeah.
Versus sometimes people get tired of the door to door,
Yeah.
especially if so many candidates are knocking on their door. And it's great if you have like a meet and greet. So that's always something.
For me, I haven't had any complaints of people knocking. Once I can get past the barking dogs, and if they'll answer the doors, I get a lot of Ring cameras, and I'll leave some fun messages there. But most people are like, "Wow, I've never had a candidate knock on my door before."
Oh, that's another thing that I found was when it's the actual candidate that comes to
Yeah.
that means a lot.
Yes,
because
it does.
people are like, "Oh, you're the
Yes,
candidate,
right.
Okay, so tell me about you." And they have your one-on-one attention. That matters.
Yeah,
too, so.
it does. It does. But volunteers can help with that too. And if you're not interested in knocking on doors, you can drop literature off at their front doorstep too. So lots of different ways to get involved. Yeah.
So we talked about your election coming up really soon. So there are some important dates and
right.
also some important things that you need to know about the Chandler City Council election.
Yeah. So starting from the very furthest, our election day is July 21st. And I might be wrong on this statistic, but I believe that 80% of our primary is mail-in ballots. And I believe, let's see, the voter registration deadline is June 22nd, and mail-in ballots will start to be mailed for early voting on June 24th. So make sure that you're registered to vote. And if you aren't, make sure to register by the June 22nd. And if you are an independent, the thing with independents, and this is the trouble with being an independent in Arizona, is that on a primary, you have to ask for a specific party affiliated ballot. Or if you're not interested in voting in the primary, or specifically being affiliated with a Republican or Democratic ticket or ballot, you can just request a nonpartisan ballot alone. So it can just be city only. So we'll have our proposition for 15, I believe, on there, as well as the candidates. But independents have to go to, I think it's beballotready.vote in order to ask for that ballot, or else you won't get one. So,
But you have to request a
Yes.
ballot.
yes.
Regardless. So
Regardless.
you have to, if you're an independent, you have to request a ballot for either party, so Republican or Democrat, to get a ballot, or just for
You can do count
the
city only.
city only ballot. Otherwise, you won't receive a ballot at all.
Correct.
So make sure that you do that for sure. That's super important because
Yeah.
we want to make sure you get your vote and get your vote heard.
Lots of independents
All
out there.
votes
Yeah.
matter.
They do.
Yeah,
All
200,
votes count.
200 votes, just
Yeah.
200 votes shy last time.
Yeah,
So, I mean, literally every vote matters. I know we say it over and over again. I hate when people tell me, oh, it's just one vote, it doesn't
Yeah.
count. But yes, your
It
vote
literally does.
counts. There are so many elections. I
Yeah.
think like there was one was like 11 votes or something, and just I mean, there's so many that's such small margins that people win or lose by. And yeah, your vote counts. Your voice counts. Why wouldn't you want your voice heard? I mean, that is what you want, no matter what it is, what you want to be heard.
And truthfully, there is a little bit of truth of that on the national level because of how our politics are built.
A little.
A little. But a little. And I understand people's frustration with that, but they still need to vote. They still need to practice because it's been people have died for this
I was just
privilege.
gonna say,
Yes.
as a African American woman, the right to vote as a woman and as a Black woman was, people die for that.
Yes.
And I will never pass up an opportunity to vote again. And I tell everybody the same thing. This is your constitutional right. Exercise it, whether you think it counts or not. Because even Attorney General May's, her election, it was a small margin of votes that she actually won by. That's a national, state.
Yeah.
But it has national impact.
Yeah.
And so it matters. It matters that you vote, however you vote. It matters. And people need to realize that.
That's democracy.
I'm pounding the table.
You were.
I'm like, it matters.
I like it
today.
I like it.
But so one last question that I'm going to ask you, and it's about your 10-year vision. If you are elected and serve your term, what is the one permanent change you want to see in how Chandler operates by the time you leave office?
That's a hard question because Chandler has some really great things that are happening, and not to get all woo woo like you were earlier, but
by the way. Just me.
But for me, I just want to protect our culture and our city diversity. I think that we're a really unique, beautiful city that's blossoming, and that we are taking strides and initiatives to be inclusive. And I just want to make sure to protect that everybody feels like they have a seat at the table here, and that culturally you're safe here.
Yeah, your voice is heard.
Your voice is heard.
So then one last thing.
Okay, that's all right.
And then you said this one more time. How can voters learn more about you, support your campaign, or reach out to you?
Sure. The first and foremost is they can go to my website, cicelyforchandler.com. That's CICELY for Chandler.com. I have all sorts of social media there, and I'm going to be crazy, and I'm going to give you my phone number. It is my cell phone number.
Oh.
This is local. I know you're like, what are you doing?
Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I don't mind.
Well, there is one, but do tell your name. How
Okay.
people remember your name.
Okay. All right.
Like the island.
Yes. So the best way to remember me when those ballots do come is my name. It's very unique and sometimes forgettable. So I'll give you a way to remember it. It's Cicely, like the actress, if you know who Cicely Tyson is, or like the island, if you don't. Rocha, like the bug, and my brother used to own a pest control company, which is even more funny. And Miller, like the beer. So that's me, Cicely Rocha-Miller.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. We're rooting for you, and
I appreciate it.
we love everything you're about and protecting historic values of Chandler, and also all of its residents. Chandler is a really unique city, and it's a really cool city.
Proud of.
It is a great city. It's our neighbors here. So.
Thank you for the platform. It helps that I can reach more people, and I hope they see my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can find more about her on her website. We'll have that in the show notes. We're not going to give you her phone number.
She can do that individually.
She can do that on her own if she wants to type it in. We're not going to do that today. But maybe next time. Maybe on the next episode. But thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been the Around the Districts podcast. You can share, please follow, and comment if you have any comments for us. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.